All right. Well, we're heading down to a job that it's a fallen job. Okay, I got rocks here. Lots of rocks, so I got to get the floor. We pull out the Chinese. Slogan. We're in a funny way here with our. Why that funny, that camera, how that works, eh, friends? See how that works? There. She's right down, you know. But I'll tell you this, she's still gonna cut. They're all different lengths, but you get a raker gauge on there, and it's game on. This one's even worse. Not good. Well, but that is good. That's about the size of timber I'm in today. 27-inch handle. That's the home handle. I think a lot of timber fallers actually are used to a straight handle like that. Well, I'm gonna tell you something, fellas. We got a bunch of these on order. I've copied them off an old handle. Let me just tell you something right now. Let me put this up here for you. Well, there's your straight handle. It's straight, fellas. And there's something about this handle. And it's with this little spot in the middle that's a little bit thinner than it's I call it the magic handle. It's the home handle. That one's a little more exaggerated because it came off the lathe thinner. And I'm gonna run that. It's a 4-pound German head. And there's our thing we've been working on, our prototype, kind of just an old school design. Nothing special, which is not what I'm about. Just why recreate the wheel? Just get your dimensions straight and your weights right and your balance. It's a user's axe. So there's something about this handle. I've had it on my old wedge banger for like freaking 20 years. I don't know how long I've had that thing, but a long time. All right, fellers, let's get going. How's everybody doing? Hey, you fellers out there, you fallers on the internet, get these. Go to Buck and Billy Ray and get yourself a set of these Kelties. You just won't be disappointed. These are a little thinner, these ones. They were a prototype. I just rocked them because I had them. I think I cut them down a bit. Go get yourself a set of these at buckandbillyray.com. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. I just rocked these Buck and Billy Ray tall Kelties with the logger's knot, and it's game over. That's it. It's just a loop through the eye, and then make another loop through this eye, another loop through this eye. Look at the balance the old man still got. And then that's it. Over. You make these a little smaller though, so they don't hang down and get into the sticks, but that's it. That's game on. That's the logger's knot. Down she goes. Some guys pull them right through, but they're harder to get undone that way. Let's go cut. So friends, I'm gonna crawl up here and see if I can maybe park up at the top and get out at the top. I'm not sure. I shouldn't need to lock in the hubs here. So here's our patch. It's cedar and some fir and some mixed up stuff. But if I can get out the other side, I think I'll park up top. If not, I'll turn around and come back down. Here's the timber here. It's not massive. There's a snaggy daggy in there. There's a bit of cranky. There's some deers running through. It's a lot of process, friends. It's full process. That's really what it is. And there's a little bit across the road here too. So I can park up here, friends. It's all small wood. I got my card here. But to be honest, friends, the wind is kind of working for me here. So here's the little patch, friends. The grade drops off right there. I like to work a patch like this kind of sideways, like this side hill, right? Because it's all leaning every which way, but it's not terrible. This is going that way down there, but you got a wall of timber there, so that'll be the last. I might even use one of those as a bullet to lay out here. I mean, I've got a big layout here. It's a small job, and that across the street will come this way. So I think I'm just gonna fill this zone, do whatever it takes, knock this stuff down, and go for it. Like, I hate to say it, but that little thing right there, it's a piece of chip and saw, and I got to run it out to a 12.5. You know what I mean? I got my car. It's lots of process. This isn't just a dump show. And then our last tree is this great big dirty cedar that is dying anyway, and I'll probably send it across these stumps, or maybe just on the low side of these stumps here, friends, in here after. These are going to, well, friends, I've already burnt a tank of fuel here.
Well, friends, I got to be honest with you. I haven't had a bucking card hanging off my suspenders in quite a few years, actually. And this is an absolute pleasure to do this job. 5 guys would do this job probably different. Each guy would do it a little different. But I think about the next man touching the wood, the hoe, the guy who's throwing the wood. Opening up is always you make a plan, you stick to the plan, and you go with it. You've got to have a plan B, but this wood, I've decided to throw it out for him to the flat ground. I'm not going to send this over and break it and snap it over top of banks and stuff. We're just going to do what it takes to get it out here for him and get it processed. Because you got to buck it too. Falling one thing, but getting it out to the flat and bucking it's another. So friends, there's a couple tree services that I refer around town when I get calls and I can't make it. Or, it's just, I don't have chippers and bucket trucks and cleanup crews and all that. I have 2 tree services. Well, this job came from one of those tree services, Adair, and you've met Adair before. I used Summit and Adair. And Hogan worked for both of these fellas. Good guys. Anyhow, I'll tell you, this is a fun job for me. It's just falling. And there's a ton of process. I'm not going to get into all the limbing and bucking, but this has to be felled and bucked in a manner that this is someone's bank account. This is all turned into money. So you guys mostly see me doing a couple of 3, 4, 5 trees and bucking it into firewood. Well, this is logging. And the fallers are the first guy to touch the timber, so it's important for them to get their bucking straight. And that's what we're doing here. So this has been a long time since I've been on a job like this, so I just having such a blast right now. Just a quick idea, friends, of what's going on. All this stuff's tied together. It's literally all tied together. It's cedar. It's all bound up in there, limb bound they call it. And I'm not flopping them out all together down the road. I'm just not doing it. It would be unfair to the next man coming in to move the wood around. And plus processing it would be horrible. So we pluck them apart one by one if we can. If they're tied together, they go together. So you folks have heard me talk about this a lot, is that fallen and tree work they couldn't be more different. You're with no one. You're by yourself with your wedges and your axe and your power saws. Your partner's a couple of tree lengths away, and you're changing the face of the planet. It's just different. The whole mindset is different. The sawmanship is different. The mind, your whole program is different. Nothing is the same. Nothing.
That one's still there. No, it's tied up in there. So we can't go nowhere yet with that. So friends, the reason I don't want to send these all down at once, because if you've ever tried to freaking process a bunch of these, it's no fun. So I was hoping this one would creep out, but it's not bad out there actually, the way the limbs are. I could probably lay that right down in there now because of the way the limbs go.
Timber!
Hey, how you doing, young lady?
I got more garden light.
You got what?
Get more garden light.
Yes, you will. See, I can bang that out, but I'm gonna lay this right there. There's no limbs on this side. So if I do this right, it'll be good. That's it. See how that lays out there? Boom. That's it. See how that lays out there? Boom. So we...
All right. So, friends, I'm just going to, because I build these videos, I go out, I do the work, and then I build the videos. I come home and I build the videos. But I've got to interject here for a second, because the internet is a big, big place, and there's lots of people cutting trees. And usually what you see is undercut, backcut rock and roll music, and I'm looking cool and patting myself on the back as I watch my timber go flying down the hill. Well, unfortunately, that's not the real world. It's not, friends, especially when you got to process wood. And I'm here to keep it real. I'm just going to be honest. I've done both trades. I've done tree work and fallen timber, production fallen timber for coming up 30 years. And I've never claimed to be nothing, because I was actually self-taught and knew just enough to get myself killed. I lied myself into camp. I did, friends. I was not trained. I never had any, I was not broke in. I was not took by another faller. In my day, you went with a faller for months. You packed his gas and oil. Then you were able to start bucking and limbing his trees. You banged his wedges, and you did what he told you. And you learnt on the stump. I never got that. I quit drinking and drugging when I was 27 years old and wrapped my mittens around a power saw and started going. I took on jobs all around here just to get the firewood. I was in the firewood business. Somebody had a couple acres of hardwood. Well, I'll go knock it down for you and take the firewood. I won't charge you. I didn't care. Friends, please heed this message. If you've got to process wood, and what I mean by that is limit and bucket. If you've got to fall the tree, go out, limit and bucket, do it one tree at a time. Did you just see what just happened here when I opened up this video? I cut one tree up. They're all tied together, friends. And in the game, if they're tied together, they go together. That's a saying we have. And it is true. But if you can get them out, sometimes they're not quite really strung together. You can get lucky and pull them out one at a time, especially if you've got to limb and buck them. This domino falling, it's handy for dumping shows when you're dumping them down the hill, or, and you don't have to buck and limb nothing and the processor's coming in behind you. This isn't for tree guys. This is for fallers. This is guys for or tree guys that got a falling job. I don't know, but they're two different trades, and you will die. You will die, and your life will change drastically and quickly if you don't heed the message. And I wasn't broke in. By the time I got hooked up with loggers, I had learned enough to get myself killed. I'm telling you straight goods. I've never claimed to be nothing except a man who loves cutting trees down and loves power saws. So please, please heed this message. Get them out one at a time unless they're really tied together, and they have to go together.
So we got all our limbs. The fear is putting all those limbs, friends, on top of the next log you got to buck, and it becomes just no fun for nobody. So yeah, we can send all of these at once. I could cut all these up and smash it with that fur and look like a weirdo.
So friends, I'm showing these little movements of flow, and you'll notice I repeat them. I will do them like 2 or 3 times. In the bush, you want flow. You want your get up or your rigging or your setup, your fallen belt, your axes, your wedges, everything to be right at your fingertips and clickety clack. And I used to pack an axe in my hip. I used to throw one tree to tree 20 years ago. We never had these scabbards here. I found all this on the internet late in my career, friends. Straight goods. It just wasn't part of the program. It's pretty cool.
Let's have a look here. 12-5. Come on, baby. Right there.
So friends, I'm not going to show this, but believe it or not, if this was fir, I would be turning around going back to the next stump. But it's cedar, and it's actually worth something. It's called chip and saw. I have a card on my hip. It's a bucker's card, a bucking card, and it tells me the lengths. These lengths have not changed in freaking, I can't even tell you how many years. It's crazy. Coastland lengths. It's hilarious. But instead of 12-5, 11, 11-3, 10-1, 10-7. It was, 33, 41. That's just when I started falling, we used numbers, not meters. It's hilarious. Anyways, it's just funny watching these videos, and it just brings back so many memories. This is a lot of work. Every faller's, we don't like limbing these cedars. They're bony, and you just bent over going at this for hours on end.
So the preferred length is 11.3, 12.5, and then they go down. But I'll tell you something, at the end of the day, full press cedar, full process, you're smashed. You're completely smashed. So you can see why I wasn't worried about that stump at all. That's a nice log there. I cut that off. This here, I cut the, there it goes. That's what I was waiting for right there. Right there, friends. Did you see that? Burning a lot of fuel here today because it's a full process job. You guys know what I'm talking about? Full process. Well, most of you understand. I know you do. We're limbing and bucking. So, but when you're limbing, you're burning a lot of gas. Beautiful day for falling. It's cedar, which is worth money. That's why I'm taking a real, scarfing off the edges there and just cleaning things and trying to maximize everything. She's all boned out to a 5-inch top, right, Skis? So, we're banging wedges. Look at the bones on these. Everything's cranking down this way. I don't want it down there. I'm utilizing this because I got this here yet to go too. So this is the part of falling. When you start falling, guys, you got to think about the machine. Who's coming in next?
It's not that glorious, is it, friends? No, it's not. Cutting trees is just labor. It's just a man with his gun or his sword or his saw or whatever he wants to call it. And away he goes. This is a lovely little job. I haven't been on a job like this in a long time. I really enjoy it. I'm doing well, I want to do a good job for the guy because it's just who I am, for starters. And here's the thing on a job like this, friends. If you ever get into a situation like this in your life, you want to do a good job because when your wood gets down to the dryland sort, or, the scalers get a hold of it and they see all these half-bucked limbs and broken tops and misbucked lengths and all side, like your name, your work is your name. You're building your name. Every job you touch, you're building your name. So if you've got timber crossed all over and broken and up in the air and snapped and just not processed, you're not going to get called back. You're not in this trade. You'll be getting fired left and right. You won't be getting called back. I can only just tell you what my experience has been in this trade. Fallers and loggers they're a proud bunch. And if you're shooting off in your yapper and not doing a good job, you're not going to be welcome. I'm just saying like it is. That's all. Just work hard, be honest, and be kind. And just do a good job. None of this stuff is new information to anybody. If you're a young man and you want to build your name. So you got any questions about this stuff, shoot me in the comments. We're on this job for a bit. You're going to see a lot of this footage come up. Let me know if you got questions about anything. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm just grateful you're here. I'm grateful that I can still freaking do the work. Over and out.